2.5-year-old Jemima was instant to pick up any emotion, and Daniel, 2 years younger, was quick behind. Instead, she made much of the chance for a holiday and began to plan when they should go and to think about how much they could afford to spend. Within days, it was arranged. They would take her sister Emily's son with them as well. He was the same age and was keen to escape the formality of the schoolroom and the responsibilities he was already learning as his father's heir. Emily's first husband had been Lord Ashworth, and his death had left the title and bulk of the inheritance to their only son Edward. They would stay in a cottage in the small village of Harford, on the edge of Dartmoor, for 2.5 weeks. By the time they returned, the general election would be over, and Pitt would report again to Narroway at Special Branch, the infant service set up largely to battle the Fenian bombers and the whole bedevilled Irish question of Home Rule, which Gladstone was fighting all over again and with as little hope of success as ever. "I don't know how much to take for the children," Charlotte said, as if it were a question. "How dirty will they get, I wonder?" They were in the bedroom doing the last of the packing before going for the midday train at South and West.
"Very, I hope," Pitt replied with a grin. "It isn't healthy for a child to be clean. Not a boy, anyway."
"Then you can do some of the laundry," she replied instantly. "I'll show you how to use a flat iron. It's very easy, just heavy and tedious." He was about to retaliate when their maid, Gracie, spoke from the doorway. "There's a cabby here with a message for you, Mr. Pitt," she said. "He give me this." She offered him a piece of paper folded over. He took it and opened it up.
"Pitt, I need to see you immediately. Come with the bearer of this message, Narroway."
"What is it?" Charlotte asked, a sharp edge to her voice as she watched his expression change. "What's happened?"
"I don't know," he replied. "Narroway wants to see me, but it can't be much. I'm not starting back with Special Branch for another 3 weeks.
Naturally, she knew who Narroway was, although she had never met him. Ever since her first encounter with Pitt 11 years ago, in 1881, she had played a lively part in every one of his cases that aroused her curiosity or her outrage, or in which someone she cared about was involved. In fact, it was she who had befriended the widow of John Adenau's victim in the Whitechapel conspiracy and finally discovered the reason for his death. She had a better idea than anyone else outside Special Branch of who Narroway was. "Well, you'd better tell him not to keep you long," she said angrily. "You are on holiday and have a train to catch at noon. I wish he'd called tomorrow, when we'd have been gone."
"I don't suppose it's much," he said lightly.
He smiled, but the smile was a trifle downturned at the corners.
"There've been no bombings lately, and with an election coming at any time, there probably won't be for a while."
"Then why can it not wait until you come back?" she asked.
"It probably can,"
he shrugged ruefully.
"But I can't afford to disobey him."
It was a hard reminder of his new situation. He reported directly to Narroway, and he had no recourse beyond him, no public knowledge, no open court to appeal to, as he had had when a policeman. If Narroway refused him, there was nowhere else to turn. "Yes." She lowered her eyes. "I know. Just remind him about the train. There isn't a later one to get there tonight."
"I will."
He kissed her swiftly on the cheek, and then turned and went out of the door and down the stairs to the pavement, where the cabby waited for him.
"Right, sir,"
the cabby asked from the box.
"Yes,"
Pitt accepted. He glanced up at him, then climbed into the hansom and sat down as it started to move. What could Victor Narroway want from him that could not as easily wait until he reported back in 3 weeks? Was it just an exercise of his power, to establish again who was master? It could hardly be for his opinion. He was still a novice at Special Branch work. He knew almost nothing about the Fenians. He had no expertise in dynamite.